Hello, our topic today is communication skills, speaking and listening. So, what is communication? Communication is an active process where mind is completely involved. It is interchange of thoughts and ideas and sharing the details. The process of communication includes ideation, which is the generation of idea inside one's mind, then encoding, wherein we convert the idea into a code that can be channeled. The third part is channel. We find a suitable medium to communicate that code to the audience. Like a painter uses paints and colors to communicate. A singer or a musician uses music to communicate. A writer uses words to communicate. Those once channeled are decoded. That means the audience receives it and tries to understand the message behind it. And at last, there is feedback based on the understanding of the topic. The skills involved in the process of communication are L, S, R, W, which is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. These skills are learned in the same order. That is, we first learn to listen, then we learn to speak, then comes reading, and at last we learn to write. So, speaking and listening, why do you think they are important? Because any success in career, any goal achieved, or any development in the career depends on how successful your communication is. So, what is listening? Listening is making an effort to hear and pay attention to something, understanding and looking for specific information. But is there any difference between listening and hearing? Oh, yes, absolutely. Listening is an active process, a process where mind is actively involved, whereas hearing is a passive process, wherein we only hear but we are not involved in that process. Listening can be intentional and conscious, whereas hearing can be unintentional and unconscious. The listening process involves a few steps, wherein first we receive the codes, then we interpret, then we remember, then we evaluate, and then respond to it and act on it. Now, what is speaking? The action of conveying information in spoken language is called speaking. Generating words that can be understood. Ability to motivate, persuade, and direct. Avoiding barriers like physical barriers, linguistic barriers, cultural barriers, gender, psychological, or emotional barriers is speaking. Effective listening or speaking can only take place if we avoid barriers for listening as well as for speaking. An open mind, an understanding of the topic, and at the same time putting your entire mind actively into that can result in good listening and good speaking. A good speaker has to have complete knowledge of the topic. The speaker must also frame the words according to the audience, their understanding, their age group, and also keep the cultural and psychological barriers in mind. Do's during listening and speaking. The most important thing is think, then plan, then analyze. Simplify, use voice modulation. Know your audience, respond and give importance. Follow the time schedule. All these things must be followed in the process of listening and speaking. Don't interrupt in between. Let somebody finish first, and then you can have ample of time to ask questions or share your ideas. Don't look disinterested. Otherwise, the purpose of communication can never be solved. Overlook the vocabulary part. It's okay to have limited vocabulary. People need a lot of time to develop vocabulary, but use whatever you have. Presume and make prejudice. Don't make prejudice. First, listen to the topic, listen to the speaker, and after that, you can make judgments. You can pass judgments on them. So, thank you for listening.